Welcome to the AM Book Club. Are you a business owner, small business owner, or are you looking to start a business? If you are, today's book is a must read. We'll be looking at EMyth Revisited, Why Small Businesses Don't Work and What Can Be Done About It, authored by Michael E. Gerber. And to help me review this book is my good friend, Daniel Mutuku. Daniel is an author, a personal and professional coach, and the founder and CEO of Career Point Solution. Daniel and I are members of the League of Young Professions, or as we call it, LYP. And it's through this club that we met, and ever since we've been very good friends. And I look forward to today's review, and we'll be engaging more about it. So Daniel, karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
So Daniel, to start it off, I remember we were just talking off camera, and you were telling me when you first came upon the book, your impressions of it were not all that favorable. Tell us what you thought about it and what turned around in now accepting it.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned the book, the EMyth Revisited, and just by the basic description, you said it's a book about how entrepreneurs can turn their business or create some systems that are relevant and work for their businesses. And at that particular point, I felt, no, this is not in line with the kind of books that I want to focus on right now. Mm-hmm. At that, I was focusing on communication, marketing, and sales kind of books. Mm-hmm. So as I was listening to one of the podcasts, it's called Business Lunch, the person who was being interviewed said that one of the books that changed his business approach was a book called The Ultimate Sales Machine. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he has the word sales, I'm focusing on marketing and sales, so I say, let me look for this book. I check out the book, and one of the forwards in the book is written by Michael E. Gerber, and he says that the author of that book is called Chet Holmes, is a student of his. So I was like, instead of listening first to the student, let me listen to the teacher who is the author of the EMyth Revisited. So that is how I ended up reading or going through the book, the EMyth Revisited. And on the same note, probably what you can tell us and tell the viewers, what is this EMyth and what does it refer to?
Yeah, I guess that's a big elephant in the room.
Yeah.
EMyth stands for entrepreneur myth.
Okay.
And Michael argues that people who start business tend to view themselves as entrepreneurs. But from his perspective, he feels that most of the people that start businesses are really not entrepreneurs. And a lot of the narrative that is sold out there, as you know, we live in a world where entrepreneurship is really promoted very evilly.
Yeah.
But when you look around it, you know, the statistics really bear it out. You know, very few businesses really survive through to their 5th and to their 10th year. The statistics are quite bleak. And that's why he was asking himself, why is it that most businesses fail? And he felt that a lot of it has to do with this myth, the entrepreneur myth, or what he calls EMyth. Yeah. That a lot of the people that actually start businesses are really not entrepreneurs. And he coins this term. He says most of the people who start businesses are what he calls technicians suffering from an entrepreneurial seizure.
Right.
Could you kindly tell us a little more about this concept that he's talking about, technicians suffering from an entrepreneurial seizure?
So, as an example, someone is working in an organization or in a company, and probably their main task is to design websites or create content or whatever it is. So that is their work, that is their role, and they are really good at it. And at some point, they feel like, I'm the one who's doing all the websites in this company, and our main source of income is clients paying for these websites. I think I can break it on my own, go out there, create my own business of creating websites or web design, because I'm the core person in this business. I'm making all the profit for this company. Why not do it for myself? But unfortunately, they don't have the skills to run a business. They don't have the entrepreneurship kind of skills and mentality and mindset. And they end up being a technician who owns a job. They go on to create a job for themselves rather than a business. And that is what he refers to as the technician suffering from entrepreneurial seizure. You think you're good at what you do, you can do it on your own. And he also talks about a very interesting concept. They go to work in a business or in their jobs, and there's a difference. What is the difference between working on a business and working in a business?
So I think when you're working in a business, the concept is you're just there to fulfill the actual task or work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
But when you go into work on your business, and I feel this is the fundamental concept, that if there's anything you want to take away, it must be this. So if you are a budding entrepreneur looking to start your own business, before you go in with the mindset that you're going to work on your business instead of working in your business. Because the person who goes to work in their business is really that person who goes in to create a job for themselves. So that business is highly dependent on them.
Yeah.
So when he's sick, the business is sick. When he's on holiday, the business is on holiday. But the person who goes in to work on their business, they go in with that entrepreneurial perspective, which is, let me create systems such that this business can run on its own without requiring my daily effort into it. So they go in to create a business with systems, and a business that can run even when he's sick, when he's asleep, when he's on vacation.
Yeah.
So he counters, he says, really in a business, the solution is not the product you sell. The solution is not the people that you hire. You may hire the best of the people, but the solution is the systems that you develop that actually run and basically ensure that the business works, not you that works in the business.
Yeah, I think that just reminds me of the concept Robert Kiyosaki in his books Rich Dad, Poor Dad and the Cash Flow Quadrant. I think he refers to this group of people as self-employed. So
exactly.
You break out from the normal employment where you're being employed only to employ yourself doing a certain kind of job.
Correct.
And as you say, when you're sick, the business also is sick.
Yes.
When you are on vacation, it's also on vacation. It's highly dependent on you. Right?
So if you die, then the business dies.
Yes.
God forbid. Yeah. And so there's this other concept that he calls the Turnkey Revolution, based on the franchising model. Can you tell us a little more about this?
Yeah, so you see, someone who goes to work on their business, they create systems. And these systems are able to ensure that the business is successful. And these processes and systems have been documented and can be transferred from one person to another. So just like the franchises, which someone can be able to open up a restaurant here in Nairobi, Kenya, called KFC. They will be handed over all the systems that a KFC in Mombasa or in Kentucky, where it all started, and they do things exactly the same. The processes are the same. It's only that different people in different locations, but the results are predictable. The kind of chicken that you taste here will be the same as the one that you taste in another KFC restaurant. And it ensures that there is consistency, and these are processes that have been tried and tested. And the franchise business have thrived. We have the likes of KFC, we have the likes of McDonald's, we have I think even Pizza Inn and Galitos. They do the same thing the same way, and it's because of the processes. It is not dependent on who is doing it. It is a matter of you coming in and you're being told, this is what we do here. It has been tried, it has been tested, and it works like magic. Yes.
So how do you go about building a business that you can replicate several times over?
I think it starts from the book, the EMyth book. It starts from you defining what is the purpose of your business, being able to think through what is it that I want to achieve with this business. Because I think he talks also, there's the technician who has the skills, but we also need the manager, and we also need the entrepreneur who is able to go out there and make the business run, irrespective of some of the things that, not the product themselves, what they really create. And I think that leads us to the 7-step process of business development. And I want to invite you, can you tell us what are these steps, the 7-step process for you to be able to develop a business that is kind of a turnkey franchise way that can be replicated anywhere?
Yeah, so you outline 7-step process that we can all take to develop a business that works. Number 1 is you have to define your primary aim. Not the business, you as a person. And I found this quite to be phenomenal, because it says the business is really there to serve your needs. It's a means to an end. It's not for you to slave for the business. The business should work for you to advance your own aims. So once you understand what are your life goals and your life purpose, you can then now go to the next step, which is now define what is my strategic objective for my business that I can now use to ensure and make sure that that strategic objective is aligned to your primary aim. So you can't do, if probably morally you feel starting like a nightclub doesn't align with your values, then that shouldn't be the business that you should take on. It might fulfill some of your objectives financially, but maybe a nightclub might not align with your own life goals. And that's why it says that that alignment has to be there. So number 1, establish what's your primary aim. Ensure that it aligns with your business strategic objective. And what is that? That is really setting out the vision for the business. Where do you want to be in the next 3 to 5 years, revenue-wise? In terms of your scope, are you going to be a local business only based in Kenya, or are you looking to be regional, with a regional scope in serving the whole of East and Central Africa? Or are you looking to go continental, or even go global? Now with the internet, really, the services that you offer can be purchased by anyone, anywhere in the world. So you have to define the vision, the scope, the revenues that you want to have, and the like. So that's the second step. The third step is developing an organization chart. And I remember when I first read this, I mean, more normally as a small business, you never think of an organizational chart as a very important thing. But he says it's important to envision where you want to go, how the business will look when it's fully complete, and then what does that mean in terms of the functions that you'll have. So a business that probably serves the whole of East and Central Africa should have a marketing and sales department, should have a finance department, should have a personnel department that handles all your recruitment and people development, should have maybe a research and development unit. So once you develop this, then assign these roles to the founders. And then now what the founders will do is they'll go work on those roles, document them, and then recruit and hire one person. And they can only go one level up after they have gone in to work in and on that role, so they can understand all the ins and outs of that role that you'll be recruiting, and have it fully documented.
Okay, let me just cut you short a little bit, because when we did the book review for Work the System,
yes,
talks about this documentation, and I think that is the only thing. When I first thought about the EMyth Revisited, I thought it was just talking about the systems only, because that is well also tackled in the book Work the System by Sam Carpenter.
Sam Carpenter, yes.
Yeah. So that is why I was like, I already know this stuff, only to realize that there is more in this book. So what is the next step after we have been able to document and create the chart for the organization?
So the next is you need to establish your management strategy. That then is also followed by a people strategy, and that really looks at your people development. How do you recruit and hire your people, and how do you ensure that you're continually developing them to advance the business goals? Then the sixth step is your marketing development, and this is where you look at who is your customer. So setting up your sales persona, and then looking at the demographics that you'll be serving, and a host of other things. And then finally is your systems development, and here it will look at both your hard, soft, and information systems. So your hard system is everything all around you, the walls, the furniture, and everything else. Your soft systems is, like when you have to come up with a sales script that you train your sales force. It could be just how you handle phone calls when you receive phone calls in the organization, and those kind of things. And your information systems, of course, are the sort of your tech stack. What do you use to handle your HR? What do you use to handle your customer relations? What do you use to handle your sales and marketing, and that kind of a thing? So that's really the 7-step process around going through a business development process that will help you develop an actual system that works.
That is quite profound. And I think, just as you said, anyone who is an entrepreneur, you want to get into business, or you're already in business, trying to go through these 7 steps and rethink about how you run your business is going to be a fundamental step and a correct step towards you succeeding as an entrepreneur, rather than someone who is just working in a business, rather on a business.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the so-called business owners out there are really people that have just created their own jobs. And so that sounds, I will be putting out the show notes to this. So I'll ask you all, please subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, and hit the bell button so that you're notified whenever we have a new video out.